Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We had stopped at the point where Ibn al-Qayyim alayhi rahmatullah was asked a question. In short, the questioner says that what do you say of a person who's fallen into a sin, who's been afflicted by something major, and they know if they carry on with this sin, it will be the cause of their destruction in this world and the next, and they've tried their best to leave it, however they are unable to. Then the questioner asks for help. He asks the scholars to guide him. So Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah begins to answer this question. The very first point he starts with, he mentions some of the ahadith of the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam as recorded in Sahih al-Bukhari, Sahih Muslim, Musnad al-Imam Ahmad. Basically, these ahadith are speaking about how every disease, every ailment has a cure. لِكُلِّ دَاءٍ دَوَاءٍ. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam then says that if this cure had to be applied to this ailment or this disease or this affliction, bi'idhnillah, it will be cured. He then goes on to explain that when it comes to disease, this is not only referring to physical disease, rather it refers to diseases of the heart. So for every disease of the heart, there is a cure. So you find a person suffering from arrogance, a person suffering from riya and showing off, there's a cure for that. Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah then mentions how there are diseases which are physical, there are diseases of the heart, there are diseases of the soul. He then goes on to speak about the cure itself, and he mentions how the Quran is a cure. He then mentions the hadith wherein the story of some of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum who had come to a group of people, a tribe, a village, and the chief of this village had been stung and there was nobody who could do ruqyah. So one of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, they said that I can do ruqyah. He went and recited Surah Al-Fatiha, and by the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this person was cured. He then says, and this is an extremely important point, he goes on to explain how, yes, we all know the Quran itself is beneficial. There is cure in it. And we know that certain adhkar, certain ayat, the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam has taught us, example for protection from shaitan, etc. We all know and believe that there is benefit, there is cure. However, at times, why do some people recite and it works for them, whereas others may recite and it may not work for them? And he says that this boils down to the person who is actually reciting, how strong they are in terms of their conviction, in terms of their closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in terms of their piety, in terms of how desperate and how they actually beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he gives the example of a person who has a weapon. It's not according to how good the weapon is only, rather it's also according to the skill of the one using the weapon. So he mentions how it's extremely important for a person to benefit fully from the adhkar and ayat, for them to be strong themselves, for them to be of a certain caliber. And he also mentions how the place that has been affected, the place that has the disease, it itself should be receptive. Later on, he then goes on to mention, after speaking about how the Quran is full of cure for all ailments, he then goes on to speak about dua. Inshallah, in the next episode, we'll speak about dua and mention some of the gems he has written, bi'idhnillah. With those few words, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us goodness and beneficial knowledge. Ameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.